Hello. Are we here? Are we live? Can everyone see? Can everyone hear? I meant to go live like a lot earlier today, but then I was hit with the big anxiety. Which is not totally gone, but is mostly gone. And focusing on reading helps. Especially since I think we're gonna beat this today. We're definitely gonna beat this today. We're so close. We just need to figure out the right order of things. We're making our way through this diary. Oh man, the problem is that I don't remember where I left off. Alright. Okay, well I'll start with the entries that I haven't read yet. Or wait, yeah. The ones that I haven't read yet. And then see if they lead anywhere new. Kafka, what's up? How you doing? Dear Diary, it seems that I was not the only one who found the bridge incident thrilling, to put it mildly. Leaps into the unknown come in handfuls for that boy. I'm happy to announce that, through my wise guidance, Adder proves once and again to be an eager lover and an avid learner. He is as obedient as he is clueless, and he does not seem to mind when I chide him, opting instead to take cues from me and improve. If only my dear overachiever was half as apt at reading gazes, well, I would not have excuses to keep him around anymore, would I? Though I doubt that would stop him from begging under my window like the thirsty briar he is. Now, any time I have to meet with Elbar and bear his senseless rambling and the coldness of his presence, I find my mind wandering towards Adder. I fear he truly is growing on me, Diary. In more ways than one, am I right? Top energy. Untangled this. Never mind the last entry. Adder isn't growing on me. I'm growing tired of him. Do you think he was born this goddamn sodding stupid? Or was it running through walls that did it? Did he lose his ability to shut his enormous snout at some point in his life? Or is that impressive talent of sticking his foot well into his throat something innate? I swear by hero that my next lover shall be mute. In bed for the past 2 days, you know. Oh no. Well, unless that's like a lazy kind of in bed. Not a sick kind of in bed. Or maybe a sexy kind of in bed? Ral has been pestering me all day, trying to make small talk with me. I'm not sure what she's hoping to achieve. If she thinks I need to be consoled for having one of my playthings thrown away, she's sorely mistaken. But we accidentally found some common ground somewhere completely different. Ral, I'm no one to judge. I'm just saying it's time you accept that you have an absolutely bizarre taste in men. Me? You should see my taste in women, then. Oh, I'm flattered, darling. I really am. But you're a little too young for me. Me? What? No! That is not where this conversation was going! Ral, I'm so glad we have something in common at last. Ooh, sig burn. Why not all three? Yeah. Lazy and sad kind of bed. Okay, that I am familiar. I know that one. Hi, Maxie, what's up? I feel bad I went live so much later than I wanted to. I have no idea what time it is where you are. Ral dropped by as I was polishing my horns today to interrogate me, as she usually does. I wasn't sure what she was trying to find out at first, but we kept jumping topics and somehow ended up talking about the differences between sleeping with horns and without them. Or between sleeping with horns and without them. I mean, I don't know. I've had my horns for the better part of a decade, so I don't precisely remember what sleeping without them feels like. They don't bother me much because I sleep on my side, so I just need to rest my head on a cushion to make some space for their curve, and that's it. which somehow derailed further into her asking how do I make space for my company in bed then? I could finally see where she was going with all this, so I cheekily replied that I prefer being the little spoon for the added thrill of accidentally poking someone's eye out. Not my finest choice of words, given the situation. It's wine o'clock. I remembered to pour myself a nice glass of wine. I haven't touched it yet. I have to admit that I became oddly wistful remembering the face of that one-eyed dumbass. If Rahl noticed this time, she had the decency not to comment on it. I think I'm craving some good old-fashioned adder hugs, but it's been 3 days since I last saw him. Do you think he's... No, this is Adder we're talking about. He probably just let Rahl's little threats get to him. What a nuisance. I guess I shall go fetch him myself. I want a good old-fashioned adder hug. Julius.
Sep, you see, darling queen, I don't want to hurry your grace, but I think that's the sun coming up your window. You sure you don't want to go grab some scissors?
Okay, yes, we've done this memory. I just hadn't read the entry. But I don't remember where I went from there. Oh, I'm going to jump off a cliff. Or no, did I do I'm going to push him off a cliff? I think I did. So, let's see where this goes.
So I tell him halfway from nowhere. Okay, gotcha. But in what direction? And the
this is new.
driver looks me up and down with a weird face, shakes his head, and says, "That's the name of the place, you plunker. Halfway from nowhere."
Oh, come on. Don't take it out on his accent. It wasn't that hard to figure out. You were the one being thick.
You spend 2 days crossing the Kaib Rift without one drop of water in your canteen, and then tell me if you can figure out a word them Poodoos say. You know how long it took me to get there? Were asking me to come along?
It's like you're one to talk about being thick.
I'll
Sep.
take your word for it. You'd know about unintelligible accents. What kind of place was halfway from nowhere anyway?
Oh, it's just one of those roadside inns. Just an inn, yep.
An inn. Halfway from nowhere.
I literally made that joke as Alex made it.
You got it, ma'am.
Or
You
as
should
Adder
see
made
the
it.
staff. They sure were friendly, but I was far too broke to afford the stay, so I just walked in for a minute to,
Quench your thirst.
You want to hear about my neck next?
I feel like you called me out because I just took a huge sip of water. Bells began resonating all over the city center. A new day began.
Oh, darn, curfew's over. I gotta get ready for work, and we'll have to leave that story for the next time.
Say, Adder, would you take me with you?
To the inn?
No, to the steps, on a quest to nowhere at all. Aren't you always complaining about how awful it is living in the city?
Well, yeah, but I can't go and take you on an adventure when I got work to do. My boss would come and drag me all the way back to Heirloom if she got to.
Road trip, road trip, road trip.
But I need you to take me out of here.
Can't you just go on your own?
Of course not. I need someone to blame when Miss Rochelle starts asking questions.
So what? You want to turn me into a pirate or something here? Captain Adder, the lady kidnapping horn eater.
You wouldn't be a villain. Think of it as a nightly rescue.
I've been cursed. My new crush is Luna from Hell of a Boss. I guess I'm a furry now. To be fair, Luna is really cute.
You got everything you'd ever need here. What the hey would I be rescuing you from?
Also, I'm not one to talk about furries, as I sit over here talking about Sep's ass all the time.
That doesn't matter. Don't you remember how much fun we had escaping those guards? Imagine living like that every day.
That's what my life looks like already, and trust me, the world out there ain't nothing half as fun as you're making it sound. Following your dreams only sounds fun till you end up half naked in the slums, picking up chewed olive bones to make soup for two.
You are a bore.
but I'm a bore you adore.
Adder. Oh no, which one do I do? Seb's butt turning faces and furries. Ooh. Okay. I'm gonna do this one first, because then if it's wrong and I come around next time, I'll remember that I selected the first option, and I won't have to second guess. That makes sense, right? Yeah. It was wrong. I had a feeling that it was wrong, but I just wanted to see. Okay, wait. Which one were we at? Wait, we started with... Yes, we started with this one. And then I can get back there.
Seb, you see, darling queen, I don't want to hurry your grace, but I think that's the sun coming up your window.
This
so I
one.
tell him, halfway from nowhere. Okay, gotcha. But in what direction?
Oh man, okay, we're missing something else then. Fair enough. Okay. I'm just going to say it outright and just clear the air, for I fear that I'll explode otherwise. I don't know how he does it, but I am physically unable to say no to Adderson, son of Gerfaz. I know, but you don't understand. He looks so positively miserable whenever I try to keep my distance. I just want to shove a loaf of sweetbread into his snout every time I see his gaunt little fond face and make him chubbier than he was. This is so cute. I realize how I'm acting, and yet I do not know how to stop. But that's not the worst part. Today he charmed me into having dinner with him. Today he charmed me into having dinner with him. The Jasif! Accepting a street shub's invitation. The merchant would have had my horns for it. This will all bite me in the face one day, diary. I will live to regret it, I know that too. But what's one mistake more in the pile? And then, is this the memory I just did?
And then Illigrad
Yeah.
grabbed me by the neck, and I heard this loud friggin' crack. And suddenly, I could do this.
Oh wait, but I have done this one. I don't remember where it goes, though. Hang on.
Stop!
So anyway, Megan's been going a little better.
Okay.
You know, every time you tell me about your life, I try to think about it.
Funny you'd mention that. I've been thinking hard too.
And you're really perceptive.
Darn it, Seb, I wasn't done talking.
Okay, yeah.
was gonna
I
say that I'm
definitely
over here
have done
drinking
this
with you
one.
and cramming food down my throat, but I ain't never seen you take one bite.
Oh man, okay. You remade the art 5 times? I've seen I think the more recent one, like the one version before this one. Which is like pretty similar, but like Adder looks a lot different, particularly Adventure. Years ago, in the wake of my rite of age, I declared that I would be my own person, that I would wait for no one to rescue me from the torture that my life is, that only I had the power to set my path straight. Now that my horns are too heavy and my butt is too big to fit through the vents I used to escape through when I was a child, I would like to formally apologize and take it all back. I still want to run, diary. I dream of quitting everything and wandering all over my homeland whenever I'm restless before a show. I dream of the meaningful lives that all the other people in the world must be having, away from my dessert trays and my fancy dresses. But it seems the only one who'll take me away anymore is my good friend, the wine. I'll take a sip for that. Hear, hear. Ah, yes, Kafka knows that well. They've been working on a comic for years now. And I've been following it all this time. And the characters have been redesigned, like, I don't know, is it 4 times now? Kemi, how about a trade? Depends on what you're offering.
So I tell him halfway from nowhere.
Oh, okay.
Gotcha. But in what direction? And the caravan driver...
Wait, okay. We need something else before we go back to that. Comics are hard. I still haven't finished the one that I started working on. I got very close, though. It's been 5 years, so probably a bit more. Okay, wait, You know what would be good? It would be if there was an indication that a particular memory had, like, was, like, incomplete, if that makes sense? I just wanted to be left alone, and we drink a lot that night. Was it this one? Whining? I can't remember which ones are unfinished.
I'm so dead. I'm so dead. It's all right. I lived a good life. And I could say bye with a smile.
Okay,
Tell
yes.
my friends I love them and burn me with my purse before my boss figures out where all the missing rivets go.
I think I did You Don't Know Nights, but before, right? Yes, this is new, I think. Sep came to, little by little, feeling tremendously disoriented with every passing second. Her eyes felt red and dry, her nose was stuffed, and judging by the warm fur brushing her face, she was surely being embraced by someone. Someone with hands made for hugging. Sep shifted awkwardly in place, trying to find a way to turn around that wouldn't involve goring someone with her horns. The first thing she saw was Adder's face, sadly turned away from hers. The second, the sea, vast and mighty, blending into the darkness far beyond. And the third, the palace, commanding respect on all that saw it. She had to do a little bit of mental backtracking to remember that she had taken a nap while Adder waited for her inebriation to pass. Cried herself to sleep, most likely. Her sudden bout of embarrassment went thankfully unnoticed by her companion, who merely seemed happy to exist and have her in his arms.
Beautiful, ain't it?
Babies.
The sea, the palace, or me?
All three? But especially you, no doubt.
Liar. I wish you'd look at me the way you're looking at the Alcazar.
Hey, can you blame me? I mean, it's a real darn killer for a building. Look at those curves. I'd be struck dead if I wasn't watching it with the prettiest gal in all of Ireland.
Shame on you, trying to flatter your way out of this conversation. You don't intend to share your obsession with the palace, do you?
Nah, nah. No way, ma'am. I'd never hear the end of it if I told you.
Blame me all you want. It's clear to me that you're just so afraid of telling the truth that you'd rather keep lying forever.
A skeptical, one-eyed squint and a frown followed this provocation. Adder jutted his jaw out as he let his chin rest on Sep's head, asserting whatever resemblance of dominance a boy like him could have.
You didn't hear this from me, but, rumor has it that a prairie buck from down yonder the steppes ran to the city a few seasons back. He sold all his clothes along the way, and the new ones cost him an eye, but here he was at last.
I hope he doesn't mean that literally. Haha. How about you draw Nikki and Vita, and I can do Adder and Sep? What, me or Maxie? Because I was like, I'm always down to draw Nikki and Vita. Deal.
The ones who know him said, they said to me, he got the silliest dream they'd ever heard. They said he wanted to become a knight. A knight of all things. And maybe you don't know, because you didn't know it either back then, but farmhands don't become knights. They become good-for-nothing, stuck in a city where no one takes them seriously, watching the place where important things happen, and knowing they'll never get to set a hoof inside.
Oof.
A poignant tale, no doubt. Though, knowing you, it can hardly be the whole truth.
You can tell? I mean, it's a truth. Closer to the real thing than the story about the talking barrel of ale, that's for sure. But the one truth's that I got far too little on my plate to worry about dreams and far too much to spend time open.
Okay, but can we talk about the talking barrel of ale story? Because inquiring minds want to know.
This dumbass I'm telling you about has been gone for a while now.
I see. Well, do let me know if you ever find him. I will make sure to make him part of my personal entourage once I become queen.
All right, that's a good one. Queen of the gazelles.
Does it look like I'm joking to you?
You ain't?
Sep turned her head towards the palace. She sank her fingers into the sand, trying to placate an ire that always lay dormant at the bottom of her heart.
No one may take you seriously in the city, Adder. Perhaps they looked at your horns and laughed back in your town. But not a day has gone by since I was born where someone hasn't looked down on me for mine. Not even when Mom was there to defend me. Do you know what it's like to live a life without anyone to call your equal? To know that all I can realistically aspire to is becoming some horn-eater's mistress for as long as I'm beautiful? Just to die alone because no sane gazelle would take a doe wannabe for a wife? Is it really so dumb to dream of a life where I have the power to set the score straight?
I'm sorry, Yusif. I didn't know.
Of course you didn't know. You're a lame one-eyed excuse for a gaze reader and a liar. And I didn't expect any better.
He was good enough, at the very least, to recognize when someone was lashing out at him for the lack of a better way to express their feelings.
I know it don't mean much, but if you're so worried about the future, I still mean what I said that time. I could take you if you want. We could save up some cash, get a field somewhere, and... I mean, I can't imagine thinking you don't look pretty for a single day in my life, so...
And become almost septu wife of Adder, the roe resigned to marrying a gazelle? Spend the rest of my life raising your fawns while I pretend I don't notice the way farmers look down on me? I'll pass. Thank you. Besides, I know that eager gleam in your eye, Adder. I've known many deer like you before. You just want me because you haven't known anyone else's touch. It won't last forever. That much I can foresee.
Ouch.
All right, what if, and this is just an if, what if all those stories I told you night after night were a little bit true? What if I only wanted to be a knight to get the kind of power that'd let me protect the people I love? That'd mean I get you a little bit then, right? And if I get you, well, maybe it's because I like you more than just your body and the way you make me feel. Maybe I end up falling for those little bits of warmth I see behind your cold blue eyes.
You can be quite the poet when you want to.
And I can be quite the knight when I got to. Just let me prove it to you, my queen.
Sep's face turned red as a tomato. Her lip trembled slightly as she made an effort to keep her composure.
You do realize that there will always be others, correct? This is not, and has never been, something exclusive to me.
That's all right with me. I got 20 years of experience working as a freelancer.
And don't expect any special treatment just because you're my favorite. I would lay with a Macadar if that took me a step closer to the throne.
That just means you'll be keeping the bed real warm for me.
Are you really okay with this?
I don't think you'll believe me if I tell you you're one of the nicest people I've met in this whole city, and it still sounds like an improvement over my whole life, so let me just say this instead. I love you, Sep. Please let me stay with you.
You're so cute.
Idiot! Don't think I can't tell you're trying to attack now that I'm drunk.
Who, me? Adderson, son of Gerfod of the upper field, taking advantage of a poor, defenseless lady to confess his love. You offend me, ma'am. I'm wounded. Wounded, I say. A knight should never announce his love expecting a reply. But I ain't even a squire, so you can go ahead and admit that you want me at least.
I want you to shut up.
There's only one way to make me do that.
These two are so freaking cute that I'm going to die. A handful of sand in his mouth wasn't precisely the idea Adder had in mind, but it worked just as well. No! Okay. Okay. I just wanted to be left alone. That one's been there for a while, but I haven't been able to figure out which one it is. My knight, ooh. I mean, she's a queen. They're perfect for each other. Maybe this one?
Oh, honey, come on.
I thought I did this one already.
You can't stay mad at your poor brother forever.
But maybe it was before I unlocked that. Ha 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 ha. See, now that I'm paying more attention to the part of the screen that my pop filter was covering, like I saw those things there before, but I just like kept forgetting that they were there. I'm picking up what you're putting down. Sep stared at the window with such intensity, it seemed she wanted to set it on fire. You've unlocked full insight. Just took me a hot minute. Just took me a little bit. It was dark out. Darker than ever, even in a long Donsoon night. She had been waiting for someone who wasn't allowed to visit. A brief gust of wind pushed the window and the closed balcony against its frame, letting her down once more. Adder was supposed to arrive 2 hours prior, and he had never once been late in the whole season. Not even Miss Rachel's threats could have made him stay away. Sep was sure of it.
What if something's happened to him?
Sep's gaze was drawn to the window once more. She had seen Adder slip through it dozens of times now, but she had never tried any such feat herself. Even though she lived on a first floor, the ground below looked like an abyss for someone afraid of falling. And yet, what other option did she have? Walking out the door and pretending that last night's conversation had never happened? Mustering courage from the depths of her heart she had kept locked away for years, Sep headed to the balcony and glared at the woodwork covering it. She shoved the window open and took a deep breath, using all of her willpower to stick one tentative leg out of the balcony.
I must strongly discourage you from resting your hooves on the frame, my son. The lattice may not be able to withstand your weight, and I am standing underneath.
The scare almost made Sep tip forward and fall towards the street. She quickly recoiled and ended up in the balcony instead.
Who's there?
My name is Hadjab Amet, descendant of Hadjab, the great cartographer, steward of the Askadath household and heirloom. It is an honor to be at your service, Jessif.
Have we met before? I don't think we have. Wait. Must know. Kieran Flitton. I do not know this name. For once, I'm an actual voiceover like that. I'm just like, I'm not immediately like, I know you from somewhere. The flippancy of his voice wasn't lost on Sep.
Did Sir Askadath send you?
Oh, no, wait. We have met him. He was the guy. Wasn't he the guy in the last bit that was like, my opinion hasn't changed, sir? He's a cool guy and deserves more love. Oh, I'm gonna look him up after this.
Affirmative, my son. I have been charged with the peculiar task of protecting your room, as Sir Askadath was led to believe that the Jasif would feel safer with a fellow Barhan civilian watching over her window than any of his trained deer guard.
Well, you are doing fantastic. Congratulations on your promotion. Go ahead and watch my window all you want. I have places to go.
I'm afraid I cannot let you do that, my son. The orders were, paraphrasing, make sure no one comes in, and I believe it strongly implied I should make sure that you remain inside your room while I carry out the task.
Are you open to discussing semantics?
Negative, my son. Sir Askadath discourages the pursuit of intellectual matters for the duration of my shift.
Wow, rude.
How about a little break then? You could come up here and relax a little if you'd like. Share some wine, perhaps?
Negative, my son. I am not allowed to consume alcohol for the duration of my shift.
Tea, then?
Only if it's hemlock, my son.
Hemlock? Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize you were a eunuch.
I am under no obligation to prove the size of my virility just to entertain your provocations, my son.
Are you always like this?
He keeps saying my son, like, you know, like the sun, but I keep interpreting it as, like, are you winning, son? Just because I lovingly refer to both of my cats as my son all the time.
Affirmative, Mike.
Ugh. Sep slammed the window shut. She would have to walk out the front door with a high head and quiet steps.
Where do you think you're going, honey?
I'm going to take a stroll.
Oh, no. I'm afraid that long walks under the moonlight are no longer part of the menu for you. You're far too precious to be wandering around like a ghost now, future Jasif of Askadath.
Are you winning, sons?
That's why I decided to put you in a casual encounters diet so you can fit in the wedding dress.
Oh my god, Rochelle!
Jasif of Askadath? Then Sep and Elbar!
Focus, Lynn.
I'm not going to see anyone. I just need to leave for 5 minutes.
Then I'm sure you can bring the escort Sir Askadath has dispensed for your security. I hear he's a great conversationalist.
You knew about... Wait. You told Elbar, didn't you? You filthy liar. You promised you wouldn't tell on us!
I said I wouldn't tell Talid. I wouldn't want to see that wretched little fawn drawn and quartered because of your strange taste in men. But I wouldn't dare extend the same treatment to Elbar. He is your patron, our patron, and your fiancé.
Ah!
Oh, don't make that face, sweetheart. I only told him that some miserable buck tried to sneak into your room a couple of nights ago. Nothing else. He'll be fine. And so will you. You can find yourself a new friend as soon as you finish paying your dowry.
Of all the miserable things that you've done, this is...
Haven't I made myself clear? You are grounded, Sep. Go to your room.
Have I mentioned that she's way too good at, like, embodying this character? Just want to throttle her. But that's a good thing. Sep's mouth opened and closed as Miss Rochelle turned around, but no sound came out. The door was closed and locked from the outside. But even if it hadn't, Sep had no will to fight back. A dozen cushions heard her scream of frustration and impotence as she realized for the first time after all these years that she didn't even own a key to her own room. The scream continued as she finally understood that she would soon be forced out of the only place she'd ever known as a home. Both her only haven and the origin of all her fears. Her voice broke into sobs as she realized the effect her absence would have. Oops. I hired Saf because when I was like 17, she made this super sassy Patreon video encouraging people to support her. And I was like, she must be Raul. Yet she's perfect. I'm gonna start. Ooh. You'll get yours. Yeah, that felt right. It's not often that one could find Sep pacing back and forth around her room. She was usually quite more laid back, meaning she'd only lift a finger if she absolutely had to once she was done dancing for the day. But tonight, she just couldn't stay still. There was someone waiting for her. It was her only chance. She absolutely had to meet him. She would sneak out no matter the cost. The back door that the servants used was right there. Just a few steps more, and she could...
Trying to sneak out again, dear?
Sep balled her hand into a fist, just inches away from the door handle. She breathed deeply and turned around.
I'm not trying to sneak out. I'm leaving this place.
Well, that's dramatic. Are you leaving for a night? A year? Unlike
sort
you,
of.
I can't know what people are thinking if they don't tell me, dear.
You really want to know what I'm thinking? You want me to tell you how much I hate you one last time? Fine. This is the last time you see me bowing my head before you, Rao. I won't let you decide ever again what my own good is. I won't let you steal the things I love from me anymore. Can't you see that you've made my life a living nightmare?
Yes, you look like the very image of suffering. Whatever have I done to be so cruel to you? Haven't I given you everything? Haven't I taught you everything I know?
You've taken everything from me. My culture, my skills, my name. You said that you would raise me to be the woman Mom wanted me to be, but all you ever did was keep me locked and complacent so you could use me as your pawn. But it's over. I'm done with your little games.
Sep turned back again towards the door, ready to open it. It was locked.
You really think I'm the heartless one here, Sep? Tell me, did you ever consider how I suffered when your mother died? I loved her. I knew her better than any of you could ever have. And yet I had to be the first to get over her death to protect you. We should have, could have been there for each other. But you pushed me away when I couldn't be Thar. You pushed me away when I couldn't be Geoff or Talid or Ilagrab. You push me every time I try to be there for you. And then you cry because you feel alone. But that's okay, isn't it? In the end, we're just two lonely women, obsessed with being loved by those who look down on us. After all, we've both lived our lives putting someone on a pedestal. It makes sense.
Miss Rochelle's eternal grin vanished. The woman who taught Sep how to smile when everything was falling apart grimaced. But only for a moment.
Oh, look at me rambling like an old woman when you have other things to do. Can you do me one last favor before you leave, dear? I think I left the front door open, but I'm exhausted, and you know I look like a raisin without my beauty sleep. Go and lock it for me, will you?
Miss Rochelle deposited a brass rose-shaped key in Sep's hands. Then she turned her back on the gazelle and began walking towards the stairs that led to the first floor. Sep stared at the key for what felt like an eternity. Unbelieving, disconcerted, skeptical.
I know you're not doing this out of kindness, Raoul. You just hate seeing that you're losing, don't you? You want to watch me ruin my life and Adder's and be there to say, I told you, when I have to drag my tail back.
Yeah, she would do that.
Dear, I've only asked you to lock the door. The rest is all up to you.
What am I doing?
You look distant today, babe. Is something the matter?
I was just thinking about the last time we walked together like this. You mentioned that you would have liked to become an actor if your life had gone differently, remember? I'm afraid that I've been plagued by what-ifs ever since. Say, Sir Askadath, does your heart still long for a life beyond these walls when you know that it can't possibly be better than what you have? Do your dreams haunt you as well when you can't fall asleep?
Dreams! Ah! Perish the thought! Dreams are for the idle. I am a man driven by objectives. And I have spent all my life working towards a single, all-encompassing goal. Proving myself to one man. My father.
Yes, this has definitely worked out very well for many other characters in the past. I can tell that one day you'll definitely prove yourself to your father. Good luck, sir.
But my father had another son. A legitimate son. A boy who was inferior to me in every regard. From swordcraft to wordcraft to looks. But he was the spitting image of the deer whose approval I so desired. He came to be a mirror reflecting everything I hated about myself. My hatred grew and grew until it was strong enough to turn a blunt sword into a mace, to disfigure a deer with a single misplaced blow. I didn't mean to do it. I swore 1,000 times that it was an accident, but who in their right mind would listen to a fratricidal bastard? A life yearning to be someone worthy of the name I had been given. Broken in mere seconds. I was banished, forced to join a military academy in Heirloom like a damned merchant's son. But even in my exile, I still sought to appease my father. I hoped, no, I dreamed of being allowed to return home.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and guess that maybe your dad just sucks. I mean, I don't think we've met him, but like, he probably sucks.
Is there really no way to undo your punishment? Perhaps you could appeal to your father and ask him to...
He can't do anything anymore, gods damn it! My father is no longer among us. He died a hero last year fighting the Makadar hordes far to the south. And with him all those pointless dreams where I was forgiven and allowed to return to the hearth of Askadath.
Well,
In his tragic death, I found a boon. I have nothing to prove anymore. I have no reason to live my life in any way but the one I choose. I am, dare I say, free in my confinement. My fate has become mine, in earnest. And I choose to say, screw fate!
hell yeah.
I do not speak of gods or written destinies, if not in jest, Jasif. I learn from the words of the great masters I've witnessed. If a fiction wrought by the mind of a commoner can conjure some resemblance of purpose in this meaningless world, then I shall make my life the greatest play.
So what role do I play in your script, Master Askadath?
You play as yourself. As a valiant knight, my story calls for a princess. And you truly are everything I could seek in one. Graceful, literate, and laughably controversial. I spent years looking before I found you, but at last, our love shall be the subject of 1,000 gossips.
Ooh, a life lived to leave an impression upon the onlookers. What meaning is there in making an effort if no one can tell you made it?
See, Jasif, you understand me. You may not be an actress, but you know your public. You command the scene when you dance. I command the citizens with my guards. We are one and the same in the end. Two crowd pleasers torn away from the stage. I have indeed spent many nights fretting about the objectives my future shall hold. And I believe I have found just the perfect development for my character in the next act. Our heroic knight, Elbar, rescues Jasif, the last princess of Bassacursed, from the clutches of her evil stepmother. He offers her refuge in his palace, and, madly in love with each other, they decide to marry and live happily ever after. The end.
Tell me about this happily ever after, sir. What does a happy life look like to you?
I was gonna say.
I'm not sure. We throw feasts and have fawns. Well, fawns are a stretch. We couldn't have fawns together, but I will find myself a second wife who can bear them. Maybe a third wife for good measure. You all will be united by the love and gratitude you feel towards me.
Sep's gaze remained firmly fixed in the blue horizon beyond the walls.
Why do you hesitate, Jasif? I'm offering you the biggest role you will have in your career.
It's truly an outstanding offer, isn't it? I don't mind sharing, and I'm not so stupid as to demand you make me part of your house. It would be reckless of me not to take you up on your proposal. So, why indeed?
There are two types of actors in this world, Jasif. The pragmatic and the romantic. Those who play anything and seek success and glory at all costs, and those who will always favor a smaller role they feel more connected to.
That one's me.
We have no control over which characters speak to us, romantics. But an actor is an actor at the end of the day. We play our roles, like them or not, and we try to make the best of them. That's the only way we can keep moving forward.
Damn, I didn't expect to suddenly start relating to things that Elbar was saying. What's going on? What's happening?
Perhaps you are a romantic at heart as well.
Elbar sent a little smile her way. It was probably the kindest expression he had ever made in his life.
I can't even dream of helping my cause at this point, but I hope you will allow me to do right by yours. Let me know when you have decided.
With that, he sent his cape flying and walked away. Ooh. Ooh. I'm actually kind of torn on which one to pick. I'm gonna start with this one. Ah, okay. It went back to this one. Right? Yes. Let's try again. Okay, so I'm back. What happened?
You look distant today, babe. Is something the matter?
I accidentally related to Elbar. Oops. I'll pretend that was on purpose and not me forgetting to undo that loop. Oh, honestly, I would have believed that it was on purpose. Oh no! Okay, well then... Oh, we're so close, I think. Forget my life, go on adventures. Then we'll start with adventure?
So I tell him halfway from nowhere. Okay.
Oh, okay, we're back here.
But in what direction? And the caravan driver looks me up and down with a weird face.
You look distant today, babe. Is something the matter?
Okay, wait. Wait. Go back. Do the other one. Because both of those actually, I think, didn't go anywhere last time.
So I tell him halfway from nowhere. Okay, gotcha. But in what direction?
I thought you'd be hiding something.
Haha!
But
Victory!
no matter how much I try to drive you away, you keep proving me wrong. Just like that. Why won't you leave me alone, you bore? You are not allowed to be this nice to me.
Uh-oh. This is big Kemi energy.
Sep, put that cup down. You're squeaking like a barkeep's rag.
Damn it, Adder. Nothing you say makes sense. But you're a good dear. Your behavior has been absolutely irreproachable, and I haven't been up to the mark. I'm so sorry.
I have been here. Hey nerd, what's up? She got the glug. I'm just gonna take a sip of wine and pretend I haven't been in this situation before.
You are?
I don't know. Wait. Oh, you should read my gaze and tell me. Oh, I can already hear your voice saying, well, yeehaw, my melon called me a biscuit. You're just a little sad on the substitute, as always.
I'll make like I didn't hear that if you tell me what the haze and almost something's supposed to be.
Almost shut up.
She's so cute.
All right, that's it. We're gonna go and take a stroll for you spill your guts all over the carpet. Come on up. Holy horns! You're heavier than the last time.
It is you who is weaker.
Sneaking out of Sep's room was generally a lot easier without having to carry its owner over a shoulder, like a sackcloth. Far away from the little hubs of nightly entertainment, Heirloom looked positively dead. Curfew rendered the streets almost pitch black. A strainer that only left those that knew how to navigate its narrow alleys in the dark.
Hey, where are we going?
Didn't you say I never take you anywhere? Well, no more. Today, I'm gonna show you my favorite spot in all of Heirloom.
That sounds boring. Let's do something more exciting. Let's elope. No. Let's jump off a bridge again. Ooh, make it 2 bridges.
Ma'am, it just so happens dear old Ducknaw is very attached to me, and I don't want to make her jealous.
Oh, please. I've seen you do it once. I'm sure you can do it twice. It doesn't have to be the royal pathway this time. It can be a smaller bridge. A tiny one.
It's a teeny tiny little bridge.
I mean, I'm the kind of buck that's got to run around in the rain to get wet. I could survive any fall just fine. But I already know how it feels when the ground wants you back, and let me tell you, it ain't pretty.
'Cause of my... 'cause of my butt, right? It's a butt joke. And I'm the... I'm the butt of the joke.
She's so cute, my god.
Atta girl, we're almost there.
The rhythm of Adder's steps, coupled with the soft sway of his arms as he held our peculiar drunkard, only served to increase the soporific effect of a few too many cups of wine. If your Miss New Booty Gazelle jumped off a mini bridge, would you? Hell yeah, I would. Sep closed her eyes for a moment.
Whew, boy, I'm gonna feel like I got sandbags instead of arms tomorrow. Wakey, wakey, sleepyhead, we're finally here.
For your information, I was actually awake the whole time.
Sep reached out for Adder's tail while she stretched her arms, prompting the buck to leave her on the ground a little faster. Once repositioned, she was finally free to look around, but she couldn't see anything. It was so dark and lonely out there that all she could make out was the diffuse glimmer of Adder's horns against the orange moonlight.
You gonna stare at me all night?
She only reluctantly moved her eyes away from his at his insistence. Words. Her expression lit up as she finally got used to the dark, enough to admire the view before her. A beautiful empty beach, hidden behind a wall of rundown houses and drying racks covered by seaweed. Obscured by the night, but with proud fires casting light upon its spires, Heirloom's Akathar stood regally over an imposing mountain emerging from the sea, accessible only through the last section of the royal pathway.
Now, I know this place ain't nothing half as fancy as what you're used to, but when I'm feeling like time's running too fast and life's hitting me a little too hard, I come here and just sort of forget everything for a moment. Mr. Bard says it's a sobering view, so I figured it was the perfect time to show you.
They leaned against each other as they sat side by side, watching the LR Sea extending before them, too rough and fierce to be explored by the tiny Akathorian merchant ships, but just loud enough to cover every other sound beyond the beach. The salty breeze kept a few sailboats moving in the night, but they didn't break the illusion of a world where only the two of them mattered. Just the two of us. Oh, please don't ban me, Twitch. Sep looked completely captivated by the view. Adder never needed an excuse to stare at her, mesmerized.
You ain't never been to the beach after curfew before, have you?
It's nice. I live very, very, very close to the beach. Going to the beach at night is like the only time I enjoy being at the beach, honestly.
I've never been to the beach at all.
Afraid I've ruined the rest of them for you then? This one's perfect. It's empty, it's got a nice view of the palace, and, sand. Only bummer is it's one of those beaches that comes and goes, so, we'll be going with the sand if we don't get the hay out of here for dawn.
Ah, yes. My favorite is the mix with Stronger Than You. What? I'm gonna have to hear that. I mean, not on stream, but I'm gonna have to look that up. We can make it if we try. I can hear it too. They would mesh together so well. Whoops.
So, how did you find it? Why is it so empty? Have you taken anyone here before? Besides that Mr. Bard of yours, does it always smell so weird in here? How deep does the water go?
Whoa there, slow down. One question at a time, ma'am.
Sep didn't ask again. She reached down for her boots instead, removing them clumsily before Adder's confused stare. Oh, hell yeah, she's gonna go out in the ocean. Moving with barely just enough grace to not look absolutely wasted, she marched a few steps into the sea, letting the cold foam reach her ankles and then her knees. Adder followed suit, having no footwear to worry about. They stayed there in silence for a moment that felt like an hour.
Do you think that we could reach a different shore if we jumped into the sea right now?
I hate to break it to you like this, but the eye patch don't make me a pirate. I swim like a bucket of nails.
Aw.
I can't swim either, but we could at least try, right? We don't have much to lose either way.
I actually am terrified of swimming in the ocean.
Folks die when they drown, you know.
I know.
Silence intruded into their conversation again, always happy to make space for itself. It bore no wistful remarks this time, for it was heavy and thick with a secret shared, perhaps unwillingly. Most people would have sunk to the bottom of a silence like this, but not Adder.
How about I paddle us there? Look at these hands. They're basically oars. And my neck looks like the tip of a ship. I was born to be a boat, I'm telling you. Look, I'm just gonna lay on my back, you get on top of me, and we'll sail off to the sea.
I have to draw that somehow. Like, I need to see this visual. I've only ever swum in the Mediterranean, so I live, maybe 30 minutes or less, probably, to Carolina Beach, which is, Atlantic. But it's like, you can't see what you're swimming in at all. And the first time, like the first year that I lived here, my mother stepped on I think it was an oyster and like sliced her foot open. So I'm just kind of like, I don't like not being able to see where I'm swimming or what's going on. No thanks, I'll pass. And they're like, people get stung by jellyfish all the time. Like, I'll go to the beach, but I won't swim in the ocean.
So, you want me on top of you, is what you're saying?
Yes.
I can take you wherever you want, is what I'm saying. I don't mind sinking, as long as you float.
A strange warmth spread across Sep's face. She couldn't understand very well why it was, but she was blinking a lot faster than before. She rubbed her eyes with her forearm, only managing to smear the teardrops all over her face. No matter how inebriated she was, she still had just about enough of a questionable sense of dignity left to lay down flat on the sand, trying to hide her expression. Adder sat down by her side, grabbed her whole body with one hand, and moved her weight to his lap, letting all her anguish melt into tears between his arms. He had a feeling that she would never let him do this sober.
They're all gone, Adder.
I know.
He didn't really know. He didn't have any clue of what she was crying about in her drunken haze as he clumsily stroked the hair around her horns. But it didn't matter. He understood just fine. Something about acting. Oh! I had a feeling that this was going to be the end of this bit. Except sitting on you is one way to go, I guess. You could die happy. Oh man, what was the name of it? Elbar's Passion? No. I don't think that was that one. I'll find it. Hang on. I think I can at least remember. Was it? I can find my way back to it, I think, if I just pick a starting point. That's always the hardest thing for me. Wait, Let's start with this one. That's one heck of a bug. Wait, what bug? I didn't notice a bug. Hang on, let me see where this is at. A very long night should be ordered different. Oh, okay. Okay, we're not there yet. I want to break free. After an eternity trying to stay out of my mind, it's finally dark out. A moonless night, as unsettling as the rest of the day's been. Okay, I haven't read this one yet. No, Ral didn't say a single word about the show I missed this morning. She didn't even look me in the face when I was practically dragged back to her. I know she knows, and I have no doubt that she'll try to stop me again. She will try. Everyone must be asleep or busy now, so I have no more time to waste. Goodbye, diary. I hope we never have to speak again. I think this is a starting point. Yes, I can get there from here. I think.
You look distant today, babe. Is something the matter?
It's this one. I want to grow. Whoa. Ha! Success! The Desert Rose was an exceedingly successful business, usually hidden away in their own little corner of Heartache District. However, they were known for occasionally holding charity events for the good of the city. Brief glimpses of the wonders that the Desert Rose kept locked behind walls, shared with the poor citizens. Yes! Oh, gee! Kafka, thanks for gifting that sub. Yee. Enjoy those emotes. I love them. We need to actually get more of them. Our emote artist doesn't actually do emotes anymore, so we're gonna have to find a new one. I've toyed with the idea of making them myself, but I have never made one before. We'll see. The desert... Wait. Brief glimpses of the wonders that the Desert Rose kept locked behind walls, shared with the poor citizens who would never get to see such beauties in their entire lives otherwise. Did I say charity? My bad. I meant promotion. A stage was set in the middle of the bazaar for the dancers, and the expectation was immense, even hours before the show started. The plaza was filled to the brim with excited deer, curious does, a couple of bored gazelles, and a few intrigued ibixes blocking everyone's view with their huge horns. But the owner of this memory wasn't basking in the love of the crowd that secretly sighed for her. No, we'd have to sneak into the dressing room to find her. Not like that.
Justif, how much longer do you need to get dressed? Miss Rochelle told me to drag you out by the horns if you're not ready by the next dance.
Oh, don't rush me. You know how much the public means to me. My dance has to be so great they will never forget my face. Or my body. I'm still trying to decide where I want them to look today, so why don't you go and get the embers ready for me? I'll be out in a minute.
Aw, I'm your favorite potato? What an honor. I really love this outfit, too. You know, for more reasons than one, but, like, it's pretty.
Absolutely not! I'm not your errand girl! That's what we have the stagehands for!
Well, someone needs to warn the stagehands that I'm on my way, right? Do you expect me to come out unannounced and stand on the spotlight smiling at the crowd while I wait for the servants to fetch me my torches?
Dystopia! How you doing? Oh, man. That's very kind of you to say. It's rare that you have those instances as an actor where you come across an audition and you're like, oh, I love this. This is the only information I have, but I love this character. And you get excited about it. And then usually you never hear anything ever again. So I was super, super excited.
I'm going to be the one to answer in front of Miss Rochelle if you play me a second time!
If I what? Sorry? Play you? Wow, you really have a high opinion of me, don't you? Fine then. I swear by the 3 that I'm going to leave in a minute. There. Did that sound like a lie? No? Then go, before I tell Miss Rochelle that you've been delaying me.
Also, the fact that the rest of the cast is like, so good. Sep gave her fakest smile she could make until the doe backpedaled away. She was alone at last, free to focus on her plan. A plan that had taken weeks of preparation, cavillation, and study, merely to find a suitable chance to carry it out. But the day had finally arrived. And now the moment came too.
Rivets! Rivets! Buy your rivets here!
A jingling orange blur dashed out of the tent before the other dancer had a chance to react.
Wait, Joseph! Where are you going? The stage is this... not again.
Rivets for your shields! Rivets for your pants! Make your life more riveting!
Rivets for your pants? Alright.
Slicker than boiled onion, aren't I? Ain't no way she's gonna find me like...
Adder!
That's my... Whoa! Hi! Hey, you called, ma'am?
Gods! Do you know how long you've had me waiting? How can a gangly, one-eyed yellow deer be this hard to find?
I'm sorry, ma'am. If I'd known you were looking for me, I would have hollered a little louder. You, need some good old riveting. Some good old rivets, I mean.
Smooth.
Very funny, but I don't have time for your jokes right now.
My rivets ain't no joke, ma'am. They're for real cast steel rivets made and smuggled out of my boss's forge. Guaranteed return if... hey, you all right there?
Adder, it's me. Don't you remember me?
Ha! Nice try, Missy, but I know this scam. Next, you'll ask me for the money I borrowed from you 10 years ago, and to that I say,
Sep collapsed to the ground. Her mind was screaming in anger. It wasn't directed at Adder, no. It was directed at herself for letting something so stupid bring tears to her eyes.
Whoa, don't, it's all right. I don't know what's wrong, but there ain't nothing a rivet can't. What do you think you're looking at, huh? It's just a Barhan lady for crying out loud. Keep going, yeah, move along. Nothing to see here.
Oh, no.
You mind if we take this somewhere a little bit quieter, ma'am? Come on. You can scam me all you want once we get away from these creeps.
Adder wouldn't have dared pat her reassuringly in her state of clothing, so instead he used his arms as sunshades to protect her from the gossipers and oglers alike. Wow. Brain, think good with word. I'm blaming it on the booty window. The ruckus of the bazaar became a mere whisper as they dived deeper into the maze of streets that surrounded the plaza.
Can't believe I let myself do something so undignified.
Nothing wrong with leaving your dignity home every once in a while, ma'am. My ma used to tell me that crying makes your eyes prettier. and yours are a force to reckon with. Not that I'm saying you're a crybaby, you just, you got some nice eyes there.
Eyes! 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 Of course! You're a gaze reader!
Whoa, hold up there! How'd you know that? Did you read my mind? You a gaze-reading scammer?
Of course not! I was the one who taught you that concept. Come here and see it for yourself.
Keep those hands where I can see 'em, ma'am. You ain't teach me nothing. A fortune-telling Zell I met moons ago in a fair did. She told you, didn't she? You're a Zell too. You gotta know her.
You can slap him later, you can slap him later, you can slap him later, you can slap him later. Ah, well, I can't know that if you don't specify a little. So tell me about the gazelle. How did she look? She was gorgeous, wasn't she? Did she have any outstanding attributes besides literally everything else?
Well, it ain't like I like to creep on Zells or anything, but if it'll help you recognize her, I reckon she got a real big... Huh? Big horns? Big tail? No, that ain't right. She looked like a gazelle? What the...
What's happening to my boy?
Wowee, ma'am. You're gonna think I'm crazy, but I can't remember her looks at all now that I think about it. I don't know. Maybe I just fell for her big personality?
Yeah, we'll go with that.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, that don't sound like me at all. Well, darn, all right. If you're trying to tell me she's you, just gorgeous don't cut it. You're so pretty you'd make a buck plow through a wall.
Oh, Adder.
But that just don't make any sense. Ain't no way I could forget someone like you.
You could, if it was something beyond your control. I suppose I shouldn't have kept this a secret from you in the first place. Tell me, Adder, do you believe in curses?
Yeah, nah, a little bit. I mean, my patron's always cursing me and nothing much has happened yet. Why? You gonna cast a Barhan curse on me if I don't pay up? Don't bother with the evil eye. I already got one of those.
Oh.
I'm the one who's cursed, you prejudiced idiot. Well, not me, per se. That is, I wasn't cursed personally. It's more like the... how am I even supposed to explain this to someone like you?
Sep began walking in circles, practicing her dance moves as she tried to come up with a way to explain a high-level magic concept to a boy as simple-minded as Adderson, son of Gerfaz.
All curses work under the same principle, an alteration in your connection to the Hadza. In normal circumstances, the river would erode your soul when you died and lend it to your next life. But a curse can shake the current, block it, or worse yet, separate you completely from it.
We talking oblivion here?
Sep nodded gravely.
Barhan legends say that Omagupseb, the last ruler of Bazaksarat, was cursed by Hirub himself for bringing misery to all gazelles. They say he begged the sun for a way to avoid disappearing completely from history, and it must have worked. I wouldn't be here otherwise. Both his methods and the exact clauses of the curse have been lost to time, but the consequences persist. I am an eternal novelty, a gazelle like no one's ever seen before, as history keeps finding contrived ways to erase me from the thoughts of those that meet me.
Oh, so she's the one that is cursed, I guess.
Well, it don't gotta try too hard with me, ma'am. My brain's got more than its share trying to keep this lanky mess of a body up on its feet. See these hands? I used to be all big and strong, but then I go to bed hungry one night, and another, and I keep starving till I'm 2 meals short of turning into...
A walking pile of bones! I know that, you idiot!
Aw.
I knew that you would forget me, but I wanted to think that you looked so weird that you'd have to be special, that there had to be something different about you. But in the end, you're just a normal deer. I haven't given you permission to forget me, damn it! I wasn't ready to let go of you! You idiot! You miserable excuse for a gaze reader! You liar! You fool! You absolute dumbass! Remember me! I beg you!
Ma'am, I just want to say that this has got to be the finest scam I've ever seen in my life. Great story, great acting, and using mind reading to find out all those details beforehand was a great touch. Mr. Bard would have clapped if he'd seen you.
Oh yeah, Gyaf.
For for the last time. It's not a god-stamped...
Right. Don't break character. Good job. You accept donations on rivets?
Joseph! Joseph, where are you? Why do you always do this to me? Do I look like your nanny or something?
Joseph? Ain't that something like Queen and...
Seb grabbed Adder's face and pulled it towards hers. In the darkness of the alley, he saw her eyes glowing a mysterious blue.
Come to the beach tonight when the lights are all out. Understood? I swear by Hurub that I will tell all your friends that you're a horn eater if you don't show up.
The beach?
Your favorite place in all of Heirloom. This is my vote of confidence. I'm trusting you.
Man, that took a fucking turn. I did not see that coming. Oh no! Oh no! Oh, we're so close though. Hang on, what's left? I do remember. Never see you coming. So far the only ones that I remember didn't go anywhere is don't open that door. And the long silence, and you're missing a very early one you just didn't stumble upon. Aha. Okay, well, hang on a second. Let me start where my brain knows that there's a disconnect.
Mom? Mom?
Nope, okay. I didn't think that this one would go anywhere just yet. I had a feeling that one might be, like, last. This one also, I think. Yeah, this is the spooky one. And then... what else? Now I can't remember.
No, I refuse. No matter how you insist, I can't just choose one. You are all my
Hang on, it's a first ray into the family business. Is this one the new one? Wait, we've been on this bridge a few times before, so hang on a second. First foray into the family business, heeding the whims of some dear other than Miss Rochelle, being paraded around town like a prize, feeling everyone's stare on her and her patron. Oh no, we did do this one. This one's with Elbar, right? It's just one that you skipped. How did I accidentally skip one? How did that happen?
Ah, Joseph! How have I longed to talk to you face to face like this. There's no greater distance than time, milady, when your company I lack. For if you were to travel beside me...
Okay, yeah, that goes to this one. Could it be... is it one of the red ones, or is it... you said it was earlier. Very, very early one. Well, hang on a second. Some of these earlier ones, it's been a while since I've been...
Honey, please, let me in.
Since I've been there. This one jumps to a late one. I remember that.
Hey, Sip, so, I've been thinking real hard about that thing I said about being responsible and...
Imagine Ralph's face. Okay, that one. Ah, whoops. I remember the red man, but I don't remember where it went.
I'm special.
Okay, and I think this is the one where she finds the other gazelles that try to hoodwink her. That's what I was like, I need to go back and pick the other option. Because I think that, I thought as soon as I clicked it, I was like, I think that's the same one that I clicked last time. So hang on. Stop being mean to Mom.
We have more than enough money to keep another child. That's not the problem at hand, is it?
Yay! Okay, thank you.
No. The problem is that you've lost your damn mind! Where are her parents, Thar? Someone must be looking for her!
Someone must be looking for all the other girls I've brought home too. But you don't understand. She's different. She...
We'll have to put bells on you if you keep sneaking around like that, little pumpkin.
Tree Dad, not now.
Tree Dad! How did you do that?
It's a secret feet shuffling technique I was taught by an old friend. You ungulates are so used to clopping your hooves that a shifty walk goes completely over your heads.
What's an angulate?
Her little, like, child voice is so cute. Is that still Melody? Because I don't think I saw it in the thingy. It's not? It's Mina! Oh my god! Oh wow, I haven't worked with Mina in a really long time. We've done stuff together before. Like a long time ago. Oh, not that Mina? Okay, I got real excited. I was like, damn, I didn't know Mina was still doing stuff. Man, now my age is showing. Oh, I wanted to see if Guy was in here too, because I don't think I looked him up. But I don't see him. Nope. She's a Turkish VA. Ooh, she's really good. Yeah, I don't see her in here. Nor Igai, but I mean, to be fair, Igai has, like, is a trans woman? Ah! Uncredited now. Okay.
How about I tell you over some tea and pastries?
Does she have it on IMDb, or I'm just curious because I like to, well, it really just boils down to being nosy. I'm just like, I want to know. Thar and Igai turned to look at the tree, smiling nicely towards them. They both cast their eyes down and hurried away from the courtyard. Should be an IMDb. Oh, okay.
Were they fighting about me? Mom? Mom?
Oh, it's this one. Oh, okay. So everyone's in the IMDb, but it's just like the credit page is just missing her. No, I'm so curious. Okay. I don't want to be left behind. Oh. Okay, wait. I think I already did this one. Didn't I?
Oh, honey, come on. You can't stay mad at your poor brother forever.
I did, I think. Yes, I just did this one. Okay, just check. I think this is the wrong answer. Oh, no, okay. And we've done this one too.
I'm
keeping this one.
I'm so dead.
I gotta find my way
I'm
back.
So dead. It's all right.
Oh, I can just go return to diary. I was like, maybe if I just follow this current. This one's actually hard. Oops. Well, I don't have that many left. So, and I know where... Hold on. I know where 2 of them are. And if it's not those 2... I think would have to be this one? Maybe? Hang on. Dear Diary, how are you? It's been a while. I'm sorry for not writing anything these past few weeks. To be honest, I wouldn't be able to tell you about them if I tried now. Wine and hurt numbed them into a shameful blur, and I'd like them to stay that way. Raul informed me a few days ago that she's done waiting, and has already started preparing my next show. That's the only point of reference for the passage of time I've had lately. Today, she opened the window in my room and had some servants clean up the place while she dragged me out to take my first bath in longer than I care to admit. On the way there, she brought a letter from Talid expressing his regret for having been too occupied with his job to have a chance to visit me this monsoon, for the 3rd year in a row. Not that any of it mattered, of course. I put the letter away once I finished reading, closed my eyes, and just let all the air out in a sigh as I sank into the deep end of the pool. I didn't have to share the bath with anyone today, and that's a small blessing I thanked with all my heart. Every little thought fled out of my mind as I sank all the way to the bottom, diary. And there, I sat, as I had many times before in the past, waiting for something. For the lack of air to urge me to the surface, desperate to breathe. For a sudden panic to send me bolting out of the pool, afraid of what awaited beyond those last few seconds. But none of that happened. I looked up, confused, wondering if I had somehow dreamt my way out of the bath. But what I found was the water waiting above me, completely still. So still that it seemed an amazingly lifelike painting. What? I said, and I knew I could not have said it because not even Jasif can speak underwater. I sprung to my feet, swimming in the air, and as I stepped out of the pool, I saw it. The castle in the background, Adder standing next to me. I don't mind sinking as long as you float. Those were his words. That was his promise, his declaration of intentions to me weeks ago. A responsibility I gladly decided to foist on him. Like falling to the darkest depths was my right and my natural state of being. A sentence he would have to share for daring to offer me a helping hand to drag me out of my misery. I sank back into the sea and out of the pool, gasping for air. My lungs burning like never before as they tried to expel all the water I had leaked into them. I could hear the echo of my desperate coughs all over the room for what felt like hours. And yet, no matter how much I cried in my little corner, I was still alone. No one knew how close I was to succeeding this time. No one could have saved me. I had to float on my own. Okay, hang on. Skip. Oh, I'm sure there's not safe for work fan art for a certainty. That just happens. That's the danger of having a cast of characters that are all so hot. I mean, I'm not furry, what? I brought pizza for dinner. Oh, you just reminded me that I'm hungry. Wait. So that's one thread. And then there was this one.
Mom!
And then... there was this one. So I guess maybe... I was like, those are 3 separate thingies, but maybe one of them goes back to one of those too. Let's go. In Spanish, we say eyes don't see, heart can't see. Yeah, so you... Hi, Cynthia! How are you? Dear Diary, I don't know what I'm supposed to do with my bill of 2 tips right now to write properly. Why do I have to go be nice? Cause I don't want to choose anything. I don't want to think anymore. How was your cream boost? It was pretty good. I just enjoyed hanging out with my mom. We made, like, resin jewelry. I just went over to see her, and, it was just me and my mom and my younger brother, and we made, she got a bunch of resin and a bunch of crafty things, and we made resin jewelry, and I set up her new computer. That was my Christmas present to her. She got a brand new computer. It's better than mine. And she's going to get we're going to give her our Vive. Because we are getting an index. Surprise, we're getting an index.
You look distant today, babe. Is something the matter?
Okay, wait. Let me just make sure. Because my memory
you look
sucks.
distant today, babe. Is something the matter?
Yes, that leads to this one. Okay, my memory is dumb. I thought so, but I wanted to make sure. Dear Diary, Mom was angry again. I think it's my fault. Did I do something wrong? Tree Dad says I didn't, but I don't know. Ungulate, illigrab. I love the writing little words over and over again. Check out A Very Long Night. Oh, okay. I was gonna do a Gilded Cage next, so that's close. It's ordered wrong, but it be important. Oh, okay, that's why. Okay. And I did read this one. Right? Yeah, I did. I remember this one.
I thought you'd be hiding something. But no matter how much I try to drive you away.
Oh, yeah.
You keep proving me wrong. Just like that.
Sep, sweetie,
That
are
was
you in
tricky.
there? Could you open the window for me? No? That's okay. Don't worry, you don't need to say anything. I know how... No, I don't. I'm not immortal. I can't imagine how hard this must be for you.
Normally it works fine. I don't know what happened here. Whee! I have no idea. Whatever happened flew totally under my radar, because I didn't even notice anything was out of place. I don't know if that's better or worse.
All I can say is that I'm sorry. I'm so sorry I couldn't be there when it happened. I failed you, as much as I failed Thar. You don't believe what Yoff said, right? It was nothing personal. All the evidence pointed to a guy. I had to arrest him, and I think... Look, Sep, I don't want this to sound like I'm putting the blame on you in any way, but I have reasons to believe he might have...
He found out.
Aw, Cynthia, I love you too. It's good to hear from you.
I see. That's... I don't know what to say. Sep, after all that's happened, I don't think it'd be wise for me to spend any more time around your family.
No.
I'm afraid I'm not welcome here anymore. So, we have to say our goodbye for now, little pumpkin.
No.
Curses don't have any effect on an old tree like me, so... know that wherever you go and whatever you do, I'll be cheering you on from afar. You have a friend in me always, Sep. A loyal ally for the Jasif.
I love you, Tree Dad. Sep's ears perked up upon hearing that name. She'd read it over and over. She'd heard it in countless stories from her mother. But by the time she mustered the courage needed to open that window, Illigrab was gone. The sun was beginning to set, far in the distance. Hirab's statue cast a long shadow over the city that no longer paid any heed to one of its great gods. Sep waited under the shade of a black marble statue, eyes glimmering in unnatural blue against the red hues that surrounded her. Her horns were still short, but her expression was that of an adult. The fumes coming from the offertories drew bizarre forms in the air, as if inhaled by Hirab himself, all under the intense glare of two purple eyes in a sea of white. RBM, hi! How are you? How is your Grimbo?
Where's your father, Aina?
I love Aina with longer hair, by the way. I mean, I love short-haired Aina too, but... so cute. Aina's ears perked up upon hearing her name. She stood frozen for a couple of seconds, and then dashed off towards the temple, exchanging her presence for the merchant's.
Don't waste your breath praying, daughter of Thor. Your mother can't hear you, and a statue can't reply.
Okay, but rude.
Well, what did you make me come all the way out here for?
I've come looking for your knowledge, Tespertalk. Illigrab said that you could train me.
I am hydrated, so all is well. Yeah, thanks for reminding me to grab some water. Stay hydrated, fam. Hang on.
Illigrab lied, as usual.
No, he didn't. He said that you too are cursed. That your daughter is as immortal, if not more so, than you are. And that you still dabble in the ancient art of Sephihet, looking for the way to cure her. I want you to do the same for me.
And why would I do that? Aina didn't deserve what happened to her, but that full Omega Seb did. He deserved every last second of his punishment for bringing ruin upon all of Barhankind.
Even if that were true, how was any of what he did my fault? What have I done to deserve his fate? Do dear ask about my ancestors before looking down on me? Don't I live by the same unfair rules as the rest of the Barhan and Akazor?
The merchant caressed his beard as he pondered her words.
She's
right, you know.
Every bit as convincing as the last Jasif was. All right, then. If you really want to become my apprentice, you must forget everything you hold dear. I will take you as my own child and give you whatever name I see fit. You will start anew, free to follow any path you seek.
What? No! I don't want to forget! I can't forget! How will I know what I have to do if you take that from me?
Like you ever knew to begin with! You were just a puppet, the protagonist in someone else's show! And now that your threads are breaking, Illigrab wants me to fix you! But I won't! I told him 1,000 times I don't care about gods and kings anymore! And neither should you. Come now, the temple is huge, and Aina could use the company.
Do you seriously expect me to believe that you will set me free if I let you steal my memories? That you won't use me? Do you think I'm an idiot?
No, I think you're a child.
I am Jasif. I was sired by the sun itself to reign over the world. You are nothing more than a servant to my biddings.
A lonely child is what you are.
Oof.
I am Jasif, and you will kneel before me!
Oof. The merchant's knees wavered under the power of a voice that only barely began to resemble an adult's. The old man could only hold onto his cane to avoid falling on his face as his legs caved in. Sepp stood proudly over the wizard that was, watching with awe the reach of a power she didn't yet understand. But she couldn't enjoy her victory for long. A low, growling sound and 2 purple gleams in the darkness beneath Hirab's statue distracted her for a moment. The last rays of sunlight reflected against 2 rows of pearly daggers, poised to sink into her flesh and bone. Oh my god, it's Sans Undertale. The sight froze Sepp's blood, long enough for the merchant to recover his composure and lunge towards her, swinging his cane like a madman.
How dare you talk to your eldest like that, you spoiled rapscallion!
Pertuk's voice was so powerful that Sepp collapsed to her knees, but she wasn't his target. Behind him, a shadow seemed to dissolve into the ground, whacked away with the long end of the cane.
What was that? How did you...
Like I never tell you! Damn kids, it's always the same. You think that you're better than the rest just because you're a little talented. Practice! Practice is the secret to every skill.
Yep.
And I've had 400 years to practice. I was cursed to live as the only man standing between you and the fate Hirab cast upon your kin. And yet you dare force my hand as my power grows too weak to protect you. Thank your luck the moon was not watching tonight, or else we'd both be lying in a pool of your blood!
My blood?
What's any of that supposed to mean? I don't understand.
You only need to understand this, insolent child. I will not train you. Not today, not in 1,000 years. If there's a barhand fated to watch a new sunrise over Basaxarat, it won't be you. Not while I live!
I don't care what you, or the gods, or anyone wants. I will become Jasif, one way or another.
You can't become Jasif! Don't you feel the flames burning inside you? You were Jasif 1,000 years before you were born! The sun will scorch this land till the moon says the opposite.
A shiver went down the merchant's spine, shaking him from his beard to his bald tail. He stood still for a moment, looking in Sepp's direction.
So, that's how it is, huh? To think I'd seal my own fate over a stupid fawn's tantrum.
Who are you talking to?
That doesn't matter. I've said far too much. It's dusk now. You're feeling very tired. Go back home and wake up in your own bed, far from plots and divine missions. Live a life led by your own choices, daughter of Thor.
Yes, sir.
Spooky.
And you there!
Ah!
Pray that I don't find who you are!
He's talking to you, chat.
Now it's not 11. What in the name of oblivion was that just now? Ain't no way the patron would know I'm watching this, right, Sepp? Right? Sepp? Never mind. I'm getting the hay out of here.
Ah! Oh, there's only one left. Well, I know which one it has to be, right? Yeah. It's gotta be.
Mom? Mom?
Here we go. past Adder, sitting on the beach, all alone as he watched the palace. As soon as he saw this, Adder knew what the ensuing memory would be. He felt compelled to walk away, to pretend he hadn't stumbled upon this. But there came Sep, awkwardly dragging her hooves through the sand as she made her way towards this past projection of himself.
Enjoying the view?
Adder jumped to his feet as Sep's face appeared on his monolateral field of vision.
Well, hello, does and stags. It's the magic scammer at last. What took you so long, ma'am? I was starting to worry I'd have to go back home unstabbed.
I'm not a stabber. Why would I bring a knife here?
Let's see. The prettiest gazelle I've ever seen in my life asking a half-made, one-eyed chump to meet her alone in the dark on a deserted beach? Neither you brought a knife or you brought a fork, ma'am.
Precisely. If anyone's bound to carry a knife between us, that'd be you, slum dweller.
Ha! I knew you were lying through your teeth. If you knew me so well as you say you do, you'd know the chances of me carrying a shank are -0. I'm dead scared of pointy things.
Oh, I'm sorry. The list is so long that it's hard to keep track of your fears sometimes.
You call me a coward now? Well, yeehaw my melt and call me a biscuit. I can't believe this. I've come here to be robbed, not insulted, missy. This buck's headed home if you're gonna get all pissy.
Adder, wait! Don't leave. I'm at my wit's end here. Please, look at me. I know we haven't known each other long, but it was really fun. I've grown really fond of you. So, please, tell me that you know my face, my horns, my ears, my anything.
I'm sorry, ma'am, but I couldn't tell a fir from a palm tree in this light. You mind if I step a little closer?
Sep nodded hesitantly. Adder got up slowly, dusted off his pants, and let his hands fall on his hips. He pulled his head closer, his expression contorted into one of extreme concentration.
Now that you say it, you do look kind of familiar, yeah. What'd you say your name was again?
I'm Deceive, because I said Deceive, right? Who did I say I was?
And then he kissed her.
A queen don't need no introduction, you dumbass.
The slap Adder got wasn't at all undeserved.
You dissolute reprobate! You witless waste of Barhan blood! Ugh! How long have you known?
Only since that other doe called out your name. When she yelled, "Yes, see!" I looked at her, and then I looked at you, and something in my mind went boom! And my brain just sort of knocked on my skull like, "Adder, you dingus, that's your gal right there!"
Of course.
Adder!
I hadn't taken previous third-party interactions into account. You met Nahira before with me specifically, in a very similar situation. We shared enough memories for your mind to find that extremely odd. A déjà vu!
Bless you.
Don't you get it? The curse works so that you don't realize you know me unless you know that I exist. And what better way is there to prove my existence than having someone whose existence you acknowledge define my person in a word?
You're gonna have to explain that to me at least 20 times, Sep.
Adder grabbed the gazelle by her waist and began spinning her around. They turned and turned until they ended up dizzy and laughing in the sand. The two kissed and whispered and said 1,000 meaningless things. And when the rush began wearing off, they watched the sea quietly. Speed! Hi, Jeremy. Did you just get home? Yeah, this is sweet.
Even after all that, I'm still not very sure of how you could remember anything before tonight. Most people just forget they met me entirely if they don't see me for a few days, even if we meet again. You, however, could recall everything after weeks.
The power of the himbo is strong.
Have you spent a long time around ghosts or gods or, cursed people in general? Your eye seems used to seeing things that shouldn't be there.
I don't know, and I don't care. My eye's just happy to see the things that are here right now.
Your eye? Of course. We'll go with that.
He does spend a lot of time around the merchant.
Hey, don't
And
get
Ana.
ugly now. I was worried sick. Thought something for real bad would have happened to you. Like maybe Miss Rochelle locked you up and I'd have to save you or you'd been sent away. But then I saw the guard and I thought, piece of cake. I'll just have to find a way to sneak in tomorrow. Next I knew, I'd been crying for days and I didn't even know who I was crying for. I tried looking in every corner of the city because I forgot the girl I was looking for. I missed you so much.
It's okay. I really... Well, it doesn't matter. It's over now. We won't have to stay away from each other ever again.
Hold up! Don't tell me you went and ran away from home or something just to be with me.
It's not just that, of course. There's far too much happening right now in my life. Elbar has been pulling me to one side, Rel to the other, and I don't know. I felt like I was about to break, and I didn't think I could handle it anymore. Not without you by my side, at least.
So what do we do now? You want to come with me to the slums? Mr. Bart will twist my neck like a rag when he sees you, but I'm sure you two will hit it off great. Now I can teach you how to avoid a knife fight, what fountains got clean water, the tastiest moss, and you didn't think this through, did you?
You are precisely the last person in the world I wanted to hear that from. But no, I had a feeling that I would never have another chance to have you by my side if I didn't come here tonight. And I'm not very used to having feelings in general. It felt important.
Yeah. Mood.
Fortunately for all of us, I seem to be frankly terrible at burning bridges.
Sepp produced a rose-shaped key out of her shirt.
If I go back to my life before Ral forgets me, we won't be able to see each other again. The curse will run its course. You'll forget me once more, and well, I'll be forced to remember you no matter what.
I don't want to forget you ever again, and much less see you cry, because I'm not thick-skulled enough to snap out on my own. But it ain't like it's hopeless, right? That Yasif guy sort of managed to break the curse, and I'm sure he wasn't half as smart as you are. You'll figure something out.
It's not like I don't have my own theories on how to break it. I mean, there is one deer who has been avoiding the curse for 2 decades. He keeps coming back no matter how much I tell him to go jump off a goddamned... Whatever. That's not relevant. Moving on. I think I know the reason why he's unable to forget me, but I don't think it's a good idea to replicate the experiment. You'd hate me for it.
Look at me, Sepp. I don't know what an experiment is, but if I ain't begun hating you for all the ugly stuff you done to me, I won't begin anytime soon. I don't want to risk forgetting you ever again, okay? Whatever it is you gotta do, just... What the hell are you doing, Sepp?
Taking precautions. Come now, don't just stand there. Take off your clothes too and get in the water with me. It should be safer like this.
I think you got that backwards, ma'am, but, if you miss me that much...
Heh. Nice. Sepp's tail floated behind her, like a fluffy bait specifically designed to lure Adder into the water. She walked towards the depths until the waves reached her shoulders, ensuring that they were far enough from both any onlookers on the shore and the merchant ships in the sea. The two stood awkwardly against each other, Gazelle and Buck naked. This much was far from a shocking development, but the water was pretty cold and exhibitionism wasn't precisely Adder's forte, so he felt like apologizing a few times and then digging a hole for himself. Sepp wouldn't just let him curse his own luck, however. I'm so sorry. Don't be. It was the gazelle who bridged the gap between them, bringing Adder closer to her until the curve of her horns was touching his jaw, and her forehead was resting on his chest. Adder surrounded her whole body with one hand, surprised by her uncharacteristic display of affection.
Do you love me, Adder? I mean, do you really love me? Can you love me even though I'm a gazelle?
Come on, Sepp. What sort of question is that? Of course I love you. I'm gonna say it as many times as you gotta hear it. I love your horns, I love your tail, I love those stripes on your face and your friggin' dumb smile and all the things I shouldn't be saying, but you know how much I dig.
Then, oh, what if I told you I'm not quite a gazelle? Would you still love me then?
Say what?
Answer! Would you love me if I was something else?
Yeah, I'd love you no matter what.
Get on your knees and swear it!
Wouldn't you drown?
I swear it! I love you with my whole heart. You to know how much love fits inside this heart, ma'am. It's bigger than my brain, bigger than these hands even.
Damn, that's pretty big, though. The moment after this declaration seemed eternal. Adder was blushing so hard that his cheeks looked like they were about to catch fire. Sepp needed a moment to stop an outrageously undignifying tail wag before it started. After much hesitation, she carefully placed her wet hands on Adder's shoulders, her lip trembling as she did her best not to let the slightest trace of embarrassment show.
I trust you then.
She inhaled deeply, trying to put her thoughts in order like so many times before. A few moments passed. Her eyes began glowing an unnatural blue against the darkness. Adder had always thought that he'd been imagining things when he saw her eyes gleam, but he could see it clearly now. There really was a little flame flickering behind them. He stared intently, flummoxed by the peculiar sight, until Sepp turned her face away sharply. The glow vanished as her chest heaved, the blue light replaced instead by a nearly glowing red flush across her cheeks.
Don't stare at them like that. It's hard enough as it is.
Baka. Adder didn't confirm nor deny this. He merely nodded and, knowing that there was no other way that he could look at her, closed his eye. Sepp curled her fingers around his shoulders, making her way towards his chest. Her palms began feeling warm as they dried up. It was a warmth that spread through Adder's body, reaching deep into his heart. He had felt this warmth many times before. It made him feel over the moon. However, the temperature kept increasing until it was no longer the comforting touch he knew so well. The heat began searing his whole skin, diving beyond the parts of him that were submerged until the water didn't even cool him anymore. It wasn't coming from her hands alone anymore. It had gone way too far. Adder felt like he was holding a boiling pot instead of a gazelle. He tried to pull away, only for Sepp to increase her grip on his shoulders.
Not yet. Just a little longer. Please.
Ah, I see now. Still don't need to apologize. Her fingers felt like red-hot irons over his skin. Oh, this is really freaky in headphones, though. Adder lowered his head, unable to stand the glaring light beyond his eyelid. Sunrise, perhaps? No, that was impossible. The sea would have swallowed the beach whole. Deep down, he knew exactly what the source had to be, and he didn't want to see it. He knew that if he looked, he would never forget whatever he saw. That he would have to live with a new secret for the rest of his life, and he had too many of those already. And yet, he opened his eye, curious, scared, and disoriented. Just a little. Just a glimpse. Just enough to see the sea on fire. What? No, there shouldn't be any more. I don't have any missing ones. Oh no! Is that it though? Maybe I have to go? Yeah, because it didn't say missing memories anymore. Apology not accepted. It's just so you can read if you want the actual entries. Okay, well, I only have 4, so yeah, I do. Eligrab came home today. I didn't want to see him. He didn't need to say he was leaving forever. He should have just left like everyone else. But he called me Jasif. I think he really wanted me to hear that. Dear Diary, I looked into you hoping to see something about last night. I thought that I would have at least spared a few moments to write a line about what happened, or what I hoped to achieve visiting the merchant. Now I feel like someone else had come up with the plan, or whatever that was for me. I read back at the last few weeks and see how angry I was, but I feel like all of it happened to someone else. There's nothing left now. There's no one left now. There's me, I guess. And then just the last 2. It's been a day since I tried to leave, and it's already one of the most disconcerting I've lived in recent years. I've never seen Ral seething like this, not since Mom passed. I asked to be let out again this morning, and she said she wouldn't let me leave my room at all. That I clearly could not be trusted with my own choices. That she was wrong for thinking me an adult. But you know what, Diary? I was always right in thinking her a cold-hearted beast. And yet, despite all the hurtful things she said, she's been sending all manner of gifts to my room. Fresh figs, sweet wine, new books, and charcoal and ink for my drawings. What are these, my wedding presents? Because I would love for nothing more than for her to choke on her lies and just leave me alone. Early this morning, I heard the lock click. Ral made sure to be noisy about it so I know she'd unlock the door. But she still wouldn't take her eyes off my room for 1 second. I don't care what sort of trap she's trying to set, but I won't fall for it. I have everything I need right here. The rest of the house may as well not exist. All I keep worrying about is how I could... No, I don't know what she'll do if Adder tries anything, but I'm sure he'll come up with something. He'll find his way back to me. He always does. I'll win the war and earn my happy ending. I just have to resist a little longer. Yesterday, I finally finished nibbling away at a little stash I had saved from Elbar's last visit. What started with a slight feeling of peckish that I could easily disregard had me waking up with a horrible stomachache that I couldn't ignore for just a few hours later, in the middle of the night. I had to give in and eat some of the food Ral brought today. And she'll see it and think that I gave in and I'm going to listen to her now. I feel really bad. P.S. No signs of Adder today either. What's the longest anyone's memories lasted without news, Diary? P.S.S. Why does he always feel like this when he's not around me? I'll make sure to raid the pantry before leaving. Elbar tried to visit today, but I've been refusing to see him. It doesn't matter either way. I know Ral will tell him I'm sick. I'm sure she's convinced it's the truth, too. Days kept passing. She'd usually be poking me and pestering me all night to get me ready for my next show by now, but she doesn't say a word when she brings me my lunch. She doesn't lock the door when she leaves either. I don't know what she's trying anymore. I woke up early today to the sound of drums. A congregation of priests of Aimai were offering blessings and recruiting souls for their cult, like every first day. And then it dawned on me. I thought there must have been a mistake, but no. I rushed out of my room and asked the first girl I saw what day it was. She said it was first day. It's been a week already. It's been a whole week somehow. He's gone. Ooh. And then just the last one. All the remaining pages are completely charred. Uh-oh. Whether it was a reflection of reality or just a warning on Sep's part, Adder could not tell. Only a few words remained legible under the soot of the very last entry. I never needed you. Ah, shit, dude. I don't want it to end. But we're gonna have to do it. It's time to go. That wasn't nearly as confusing when I, like, paid attention to the hints that were on the other side of the screen. It was so worth it to get all the entries. Should I stay or should I go? Now it's time to go now. We've lingered too long. Adder took a moment to reflect on the entries he'd read. If that wasn't enough, nothing would be. He headed towards the cracked wall and examined it for a while. It didn't look like anything less than an earthquake could make it tumble down. And what was the closest thing to an earthquake Adder had at hand? Still sorry about the one totally safe for work voice line. Well, technically it is safe for work. I mean, you could interpret the delivery of that line in any such way. Doesn't necessarily mean what you think it means. Maybe. Ooh, I got an achievement for that. Adder rammed straight into the wall, proving that his will could shatter rocks, bricks, and mental defenses.
Whew, I sure hope that wasn't important. All right, come on, Adder. You got this. Sam! I think I got a good idea of what's going on with you. Can you?
Ah!
Enlighten me.
Adder took a deep breath, trying to recover from his fright. Or rather, using it as an excuse to order his thoughts for the last time. What was, indeed, so wrong with Sep as to require his help? Well, a lot of things. I mean, she is really lonely. And scared. It's all of them. See, now I'm as thick as Adder because I'm like, I could pull so many things from those entries. I could even argue I got in her way because the whole Albert situation. I'm gonna have to. This is what happens when you're an expert at overthinking. The first thing that I'm just gonna go with the first gut feeling, which is definitely lonely. But all of these are correct, in my opinion.
I've seen so many sad memories in there. I saw what happened with your mom, and Heligrab, and Miss Rochelle, and me, and you sure got a lonely life. I was a grown man when I was dragged to the fort, but you were just a fawn when you were...
Get to the point.
Right, so you spend a life locking yourself away. And then here I come saying you could trust me because I don't care who you are or what you are. Now, I said I'd stick by your side and love you no matter what, but when you showed me your true self, I got scared and ran. You always said you didn't care about me, that I was nobody because I was just one of many others even if you liked me a little bit better. But I know that ain't true now. I hurt your feelings. Nobody couldn't do that. I want to tell you I'm sorry for what happened, but I don't think it'd be honest if I did. I wasn't ready for you then. I mean, I doubt I've been ready in 50 years either. I just don't mess with things I don't understand, you know? But that still don't mean I could just run away from them. I should have never made you feel lonely, Sep. I think I can apologize for that at least.
This good boy.
I should have just let you forget me like everyone else.
Think you'd been happier if you had?
Of course not. I'm never happy.
Hey now, that's a lie, ma'am. You've been happy plenty of times. Trust me, I've seen it with this eye. And you know what? You'll be happy again. This time with someone better than me. And if Lord Snotty Snout don't make you happy, just holler at me and I'll come give him a good old-fashioned ass whooping.
Hell yeah. Except, well, he is about to kill me, I think, but details.
Do try to stay away from the scaffold a few more days at least, please.
There we go. At least I made you laugh one last time.
Don't say it like that. I'll have many more chances to laugh at you once you win the trial.
Sepp sent Adder a look, soft and sincere, encouraging even. And though the fire that had brought them together lay dormant, this gaze spoke of something different. A friendship that had barely begun taking its first steps. A promise of future understanding, perhaps. But for that future to happen, they both needed to leave the safety of the barriers they had so desperately clung to in their lives.
So, where do I go from here? How do I get out?
Oh, that's easy. I'll get you out of here.
Didn't you say you couldn't?
I just needed to keep your mind occupied long enough.
Oh. The world began making sense, little by little. Colors, shapes, shadows, and lights began falling into place as Adder's eye got used to reality once again. Remember this scene? It feels like 1,000 years ago. But somehow, he wasn't the one looking the most stunned. The number of people in the audience had, at some point, tripled, and they were all staring at him agape. Illigrab's face was covered in dew. Not even Albar could keep his jaw locked in place.
Y'all feeling all right there?
Adder directed a brief, confused look at Sepp. She smirked.
Lad, I always knew you had the givings of a poet. But to think you had such words hidden inside of you!
This is impossible! How can a peasant, worse, a farmer like you have such a vast vocabulary and nuanced understanding of the allures of the agape? Your spiel was beyond beautiful. It was absolutely splendid!
This is glorious.
But I purchased Jasif's affections legally, damn it! Her love belongs to me and no one else!
Did Sir Askadath just casually admit he's a horn-eater? Are nobles allowed to do that? You think it's a court fad or something?
Well, don't waste time looking, lads. I'm right here if you want to be fashionable.
I don't care how
my
many
God,
words the
Goff.
nobles are eating. That still doesn't explain those hand marks. The witch must have charmed Sir Askadath to distract us. She's charmed them both. Burn her! Burn the Sephi or we riot!
Burn the witch.
Burn the witch! Burn the witch! Burn the witch!
Lacking torches, the mob set their pitchforks on fire. That's impressive. They began walking towards Sepp as they chanted for her death. Adder realized that there was only one way to save Sepp and get out of this ungodly mess. True thing.
Oh, hold up. Oh, what's this? My head. Oh, what's going on? Where am I? Oh, the voices of this rock-throwing, witch-burning, bloodlusting mob have opened my eyes at last. Oh, the spell is broken. I could think clearly at last. Patron, how could you do this to me?
This is incredible.
What? How dare you turn on me, Yotson?
This man put his hands on me and cast a spell, and oh, fire all over the place. And next I knew, more than a dozen moons had passed, and not a contract in sight.
That is absolutely despicable! But how can we trust this truant? We only have his word.
That's not true. Look, the merchant's got hands. Witch hands. They fit perfectly fine in the marks, see? See? And you know what else? He's red, the color of fire. What more proof can any of us need, dear jury?
I can't. Adder, that was so clever. Look at this boy.
Yeah! That asshat Geoff is right! The evidence is overwhelming! Why did we listen to a Sephi in the first place?
You're not getting out of here alive, son of Garbath! You hear me? I'm going to kill you! And then I'm going to fire you! You treacherous!
Maybe not the best choice of words.
You're fired! Fired, I say! Fired!
Damn. My throat hurt just hearing that.
You're the only one who's getting fired here, witch!
Hi, Steel! And so, Geoff spearheaded the mob's effort to build a pyre, taking the merchant and Adder's sentence with them. That was incredible.
Take it from a deserter, Pops. Better lose your job than your life.
Adder, you're a sneaky little bastard. But you're a good sneaky little bastard.
Hell yeah.
Thank you for helping Sep out, lad.
What in the actual name of Oblivion just happened?
Don't worry about it. Steel, I hope you had a good Christmas.
Oh, Elbar. I told you didn't understand what a public trial would entail.
Indeed! It's obvious I clearly don't. I have failed miserably to channel the fickle ire of the masses towards the neck of this lowlife. But do you know which concept I have an excellent grasp of? Executions!
Uh-oh.
Elbar, don't be a sore loser. The town has already pronounced its sentence.
Listen to him, Sir Askadath. Revenge is pointless. Keep your head. You can still be a hero in my eyes.
This is not about heroism. It's a matter of honor. You have mocked me as you please, one-eyed scoundrel. But I shall be the one to have the last laugh. Die!
Uh-oh. Albar fell upon Adder with all the might of his cutlass as he screamed. His blade didn't cut flesh as it descended, but metal.
Stop this assault at once, Elbar!
Burbith's back. Adder opened his eyes, finding an unexpected hero hovering above him.
Burbith?
I love Elbar from a Shakespearean point of view. Same. I like Burbith too. I mean, I definitely don't love what he did to Aina that one time, and he definitely deserved to be decked for it, but he was. And now he's here. Burbith had diverted the course of Elbar's sword with his parrying dagger, making his half-brother hit the ground instead.
What? I mean, my lord, I'm glad to see you standing, but I don't believe you're properly awake. Why did you stop me? Isn't this the one-eyed scoundrel that dared attack you in the first place?
Elbar problematic fave. Yeah, I can agree with that.
He did attack me, yes, but he didn't do so without reason. I was the one who started the incident.
See, you know what? I had a feeling people were so mad at Burbith in Sean's stream last night, and I was like, I have a feeling whenever he wakes up, he's gonna feel like a right ass for what happened.
This deer is innocent. I have come to pardon him at Aina's beseech.
Hell yeah.
Aina's what now? What did you do to my boss, Four Eyes?
I merely welcomed her to my palace. Even after my hideous assault on her person, she found her way to me, seeking to share the news of your impending death. You are a truly fortunate man, Adder. Aina's loyalty may be the most remarkable of her features.
Though I have some questions considering Aina's situation right now, we'll see.
But I digress. It would seem that I'd suffered a brief bout of amnesia following the blow, prompting me to disregard her at first. But her arguments were so swaying that I could not bear to remain idle another second. I had to put an end to this injustice.
I have to get Tim to re-record these. I really don't know what's going on with his mic. I can't quite tell with like the background music going and stuff like that.
Then this venison's claims were true after all? You attempted to dishonor a doe?
Though I'm having trouble with my recordings right now as well. And I'm almost positive it's my audio interface, which I should be getting. I have a new one coming in the mail Tuesday, so we will see. Apparently, I'm not the only one that's had problems with the Focusrite Scarlet. The tinniness is probably, like, people who record in an open space that's not properly treated, that's where the tinniness usually comes from. But, not always.
Well, I wouldn't say, dishonor or dough, but the point stands. Blinded by my insatiable curiosity and my need to be right, I gave in to my impulses and acted in a completely unforgivable way.
Hell yeah.
I would have absolutely struck myself given the occasion. Not quite as hard, however.
His space was treated, hence why. Yeah, I'm gonna go with either the mic or the interface, usually.
I am beyond befuddled by this turn of events! What would you have me do, my liege? I have already drawn my sword dramatically at him!
Oh, let it be! Throw your sword against the pavement, or curse the skies with it! It will make no change to the fact that it was no deer's fault but my own. And perhaps his a little.
Mr. Bearbeth,
There is nothing to be said, friend. Truly, I should not have insisted so stubbornly. I still don't believe that Aina could be anything remotely alive in the traditional sense of the word, but I believe firmly that my behavior was out of place. An apology is the least I can offer.
We can't be really too mad at him because, like, Aina is definitely not your average doe, so he might be right. He probably tried to fix with poorly applied noise reduction or something. Yeah, that's the other thing too. I've made that mistake before, something goes wrong with the software or whatever, and I try to fix it in post, and it just makes it worse. I've done that.
Besides, Aina promised to let me explore every nook and cranny of her body if I came here to help you. Look, I have the signed note right here. Oh, I can't wait to follow up on my previous discoveries.
It's a little bit creepy, but I understand. Adder didn't manage to take one single step forward before Illigrab lifted him off the ground.
Adder, no! Think happy thoughts, but not too happy. Think about our lessons on the importance of self-determination and the dangers of infantilizing women!
Right! Yeah! Saving me was mighty kind of her, and if she wanna keep her promises and do something like that, then that's her business.
It's for science!
Give me a moment, I think I'm gonna throw up.
And, you know, the important thing here is the consent part. Adder tumbled away towards a discreet corner, holding his hands over his whole face. Albar did much the same, but in the opposite direction. Illigrab managed to follow suit to make sure he didn't change his mind.
Oh, and speaking of discoveries...
Okay, but don't...
Hello,
Don't...
dear. What's a specimen like you doing here?
I keep trying to defend you, Burbeth. Stop it. Stop acting a fool. Seb's tail sprung up in horror as Burbeth began walking in circles around her. Burbeth, you gotta stop.
Lord Askadav, it's an honor to meet you again. Perhaps your memory is a little fuzzy after the incident. We already met some moons ago, remember?
Oh, that is absolutely preposterous! Concussions rarely affect long-term memory, and this is far from the worst blow I have received. You must be mistaking me for some other hornless deer. I assure you, I would not forget a frame like yours quite so easily. I had read about large gazelles during the heyday of Basaksarat, when food was abundant and the vast majority of tasks were carried out by golems. But I never thought I'd get to see an overweight Bahan with my own eyes!
Burbeth? Respect
what a
the booty.
delightfully quaint sight! You could even pass for a doe!
Respect the booty, Burbeth.
I have to admit that you do look somewhat familiar, though.
She's gonna hit you. Rude, it's called thick.
Ah, I see. You must be Elbar's kitchen maid, correct? Oh, I understand now. Someone's been sneaking into their master's pantry.
Burbeth, I get the feeling that perhaps you get hit a lot. Everyone left in the plaza turned around upon hearing the slap. Everyone except for Burbeth, who lay unconscious on the ground once more. I keep going back and forth with Burbeth because I'm just like, I understand that, like, your passion for knowledge, we'll say, and you're not quite understanding that you're being incredibly rude because it seems very unclear. He just wants to science, and it's very clear that he doesn't really understand stuff that he's doing is very unacceptable. But still, you'd think like maybe the 5th or 6th time somebody punched him in the face, maybe we'd get it, maybe. I'm trying to be sympathetic here, Burbeth, because I think you're cute. You gotta stop.
Jasif! What is the meaning of this?
Sir Askadath, this is not what it looks like. It wasn't me.
Was it me?
Adder, what did you do?
Say what? Don't look at me. I was just puking my guts out over here.
Inside my mind, you walking pile of servine dung. What did you do to me?
Oh, well, I just, I had to make my way out somehow. I saw this wall and it was about to fall, so I just gave it a little push and let me guess, that was your patience?
Uh-oh.
Am I right? Boy, oh boy, do I got a good eye for these things or what? This is why we don't mess with people's minds.
Adderson, son of Gurfath, I would strangle you with my own hands if I wasn't so convinced that your brain hasn't received any oxygen in a decade!
Babe, how could you do this to me? I was willing to forgive your bizarre infatuation with this room. I could have forgiven this offense you cast upon my house, but how dare you lie so brazenly, woman? I saw you slap my brother with my own eyes!
Well, in this instance, you kind of deserved it, don't you think?
But I didn't want to do that. I mean, I did, but there's a perfectly sound and valid explanation for this.
Tell you later!
Adder, no!
Bye!
Betrayal! A knife upon my heart and soul! This treachery shall not stand, Jasif! Guards! Fetch them!
A marabunta of guards threw itself over the runaway couple at Auber's command. A group of them outran the rest quite easily, leaving Adder and Sepp completely flanked, but not yet stopped. Yeah, when you insult the booty, you get the hand. These guards that moved with feet light as the wind kept showing up where Adder least expected them, herding the two into one of the many alleyways that surrounded the bazaar. And then they ran faster yet, forming a wall blocking the entrance to the only escape path left. Adder didn't dare break his run as he approached the spear wall. Surrounded from every angle, and with a dozen guards chasing them, he could only run forward. But he didn't get impaled. The guard line in front of him separated momentaneously in two groups, letting them pass into the alley completely unharmed. One of the spearmen yelled something as Adder and Sepp crossed the line. Something that was definitely not Sirnar. They regrouped in a second, closing the entrance to the alley before the rest of the guards crashed against them like a wave of helmets and spears.
Did they just...
Hi. Adder couldn't finish the sentence, for he never learned from his worst flaw. He forgot to look ahead. And so he ran headfirst into a wall. One he couldn't break with his head. One made of fur, armor, and gleaming eyes.
Boss?
The weather's changed a lot while you weren't looking, puppy eyes. I'm your boss now.
Hey! I've always wanted to be the villain with the last word. God, that feels good. Hey-oh. Stay hydrated, kids. If I steal a minute of your time to take you to the credits, I can't stay away from the credit page this entire playthrough, but I really appreciate this at the end here. Hey, crap baby, how have you been? Hell yeah. Man, now I'm like, chapter 4, I need it. So as far as correct me, I think I said it when I first streamed, but I don't know if you were there, that there's one more chapter and then an epilogue chapter. Yes. And anyone who buys the game now, the chapters that are released in the future will be free. Correct? And I think it's still on sale. Chapter 4, more Kemi. And yes, good, okay. I didn't want to, like, spread the false information. So yes, I was totally prepared, actually, to give out a copy of the Hayseed Knight. But I didn't set up things beforehand because I forgot. So I'm actually going to give out a copy on Twitter later. So follow us on Twitter if you want a copy. In the meantime, though, that was the Hayseed Knight for now. And I so enjoyed this. And actually, I think I'll probably play through it again offline because there's like branching paths and like scenes that I didn't get to see. But you can see them for yourself if you check out the game on Steam, which I believe is still on sale. And it's, oh, hey, yeah, this wound up to be like a pretty lengthy stream, actually, 2.5 hours. So I actually don't feel that bad going offline for now, because I have a couple things to take care of, and I gotta go into the shop tomorrow. So I'm gonna leave it at that. Oh, man. I just want more. I want more now. But in the meantime, I guess I will see you guys possibly tomorrow for speedruns. I'm gonna de-rust Earthbound, can you believe it? How long has it been since I've done a glitchless any % of Earthbound? Like 2 years, maybe more? I'm super excited. But yeah, I'll see you all tomorrow. Thanks for being here. And I love your faces. And I'm your boss now.